Well, Alan Langer has really struck form in the latter half of this competition.
Phil Gould, the Penrith coach, he knows what it's like to win a grand final from the sideline. Might get another chance this year. Kerrod Walters, key man at dummy half. And another key man, Eddie Ward, the referee in charge. Dale Shearer wears 3, but he's at fullback. And one of the tough men in the Penrith side, Cartwright, about to do some work, as we all are. The major preliminary semi-final. Great to have you with us. Alexander hooks it around for Kevin Walters. Bounced off the first tackle from Fittler. Khan, the leading try scorer in the Winfield Cup. Langer. Home. They say there's a question mark, or some critics believe there have been a question mark over the Broncos forwards. Semi-finals will well and truly find that out. They've got enough experience in there. Well taken, but Johns wrapped Green up well. McIndoe. Johns makes another tackle. Alexander got it away for Paul Smith as that sun coming out of the shadows makes it difficult for us. Penalty. Inside the 5, the Broncos. Clark and Kerrod Walters had come together a little. Clark wanted to go on with it. Walters goes back to his position as Alexander looks out to the touchline. Simmons. Clark wants it again. 32 out from the Brisbane line. The opening 2 minutes of this semi-final. Alexander, they go wide, Penrith, and well, Izzard just couldn't get it one more pass. They had a couple of men left over, the Panthers. Walker, Langer. He got some assistance from Allen and G. Cartwright now. He's the danger man. He can unload. He can take 2 or 3 defenders and still get the ball away. Alexander with a long pass. Bentley. Fittler. Green was in.
A bit of shepherding there, I thought.
Johns was the man complaining that he couldn't finish a tackle. Alexander. Bombers coming down for Shearer. He climbed, but only into a teammate. Kerrod Walters is there to tidy up. Plenty of early pressure from Penrith. Shearer brings it away. The Panthers won both encounters this year, 26-18 at Lang Park, and then easily a few rounds back at Penrith Park. Right on their 22, the Broncos. Dowling. Good gain of 12 metres.
Yeah, that's the way they need their forwards to go, straight and hard.
Back for Shearer. He hesitated for a moment, still got the kick in. Down for Paul Smith. And he's wrapped up. Bill Anderson and Peter Sterling are back with us. Bill, how do you see this major prelim?
Well, Graham, I think that Penrith will adapt better to the rigours of semi-final football because they've been playing that brand of football all year. I just think that Brisbane might try to entertain us a little too much.
There's a knock-on and the scrum will settle here.
Here's the first knock-on of the match. There you can see clearly that Van der Voort was unable to get the ball into his hands properly. Watching the opposition come at him properly, I don't blame him.
We'll give Brisbane a chance early here from this scrum. Jackson. Peter Sterling, how do you see it?
Well, a very solid start by both sides at the moment. Perfect day for rugby league. No bruise at all. I favour the Penrith side. I just like the way that the defence moves around. I think they'll put pressure on their opposition, and I think their kicking game will be superior.
The Broncos inside the 22 for the first time. I don't think Dowling was expecting that. Kerrod Walters, a little dart from dummy half. Out for Khan. Grabbed by the collar and thrown to ground by Fittler. Come here, he said. Langer. Everybody's trying a bomb in the semi-finals. Come comes a straight. Langer's got it. He's offside, was he?
Ball
was knocked
forward.
Knocked on by one of his own teammates in goal.
Yes, watch it here on the State Bank replay. The ball was propelled forward off a Bronco player, and then Walters grounded it later.
He couldn't be offside in that situation. It was lost earlier. Now the Panthers. A little bit of a scare. Alexander. Vandervoort. The Broncos moving up very quickly. Mortimer. Remember, I think Chris Mortimer plays his 249th first-grade game today. Shearer takes it beautifully to bring it back.
Caught by McIndoe. Both sides have had some pressure to withstand in the first 5 minutes of the game.
And I get the impression Shearer might be favouring an ankle. The way he fielded that ball and had to do a sharp U-turn, he hobbled around in a little bit of a circle. I'm just watching closely for a few minutes.
So it's Gene Miles playing it 10 metres from halfway. G. Now Dowling almost reaches the halfway mark. Miles sends this out towards Smith. Smith quickly caught. Hancock and Jackson.
Yes, just while they're here, let's have a look at the lower grades game, the under 21. St George 10, Penrith 8, a very, very close and dual game, very hard. And the Penrith reserve grade side travelled all the way down for some success. They've beaten last year's premiers 18-12.
So Clark manages to get a one-handed pass away to Royce Simmons. Now Cartwright. Blocked through the tackle of Langer, gets up to the halfway mark. Cartwright got his dart inside, touched by a Bronco player, and just in the field of play, picked up by Khan, but referee Ward's going to rule the knock on. Nice smart run from Cartwright.
Cartwright did everything right except getting the ball touched in flight as he tried to lob a pass back on the inside. The State Bank replay.
Alexander gets a scrum feed. 35 out from the Broncos line. This is Izzard.
Good hands there, had to go down low for that one.
Finished off by Miles. Now Vandervoort bounced out of one. Right inside the field, 35 metres away from the Broncos line. Alexander has it for Cartwright. Back for Alexander. Now it's with Mortimer. Again takes him over the top. Simmons for Walker. Just inside the 22 now, but this is the last tackle for the Panthers. Alexander going to run it. Pass has gone astray. And that'll be a turnover.
Here's Alexander in the State Bank replay trying a cutout pass, but unable to be handled out there wide.
Allen playing it.
Nice look to touch forward.
Dowling will play it. And the penalty's going to go to the Broncos. Penrith up inside the 5 metres in the ruck.
A little bit of push and shove going on in all these situations. Both sets of players are very hyped up for it.
Sorting themselves out of it. Jackson will look for touch. And he finds it about 35 out from the Panthers line. So Walters with the restart. They get there a couple of more metres as Dowling took it up now. It's Allen inside the 22. Good strong run from Allen.
Yeah, they let him go a long way.
Walters from dummy half. He gets to within 10 metres of the line. Langer gets in there at dummy half. Out for Kevin Walters. Quickly caught though. And the Penalty's going to go to the Broncos. Now, Izzard did the right thing, moving up really smartly to chop the ball off, but then he lay all over Walters.
Yes, a beautiful tackle, absolutely perfect to get him down there, but then he just wouldn't let go. He had his right arm over the top of the leg. The referee's not going to fall for that. The penalty's gone to the Broncos, only about 18 metres out from the line, about 5 metres off centre.
So first opportunity for points. Shearer will do the honours.
Well, you mentioned earlier, Ian, about Bronco captain Gene Miles. Well, he's certainly back. I think that'll cause a ripple of excitement among Bronco supporters around the country. I believe this bloke is one of the real talents of rugby league in the world. I think he's a great, great player. But he has got problems with the knee, and even with needles, he's, well, one can only guess with these situations.
Shearer with a success rate of just over 50%, 54% to be exact. It's a great opportunity to put his side in front. Boos come from the Panther supporters as Shearer moves into it and makes no mistake. Touch judges' flags are up, and the Broncos have the early lead over Penrith, 2-0.
Alexander comes back to halfway for the restart. To all those dads, hope Father's Day's been a kind one for you. Well treated at home this morning, Bear, were you?
Oh, it was terrific. No different than any other day. Got breakfast for everyone else.
I don't know how I ended up with the washing and wiping up, but I did. 10 metres out, the Broncos. Jackson. Kicked out.
Well, that's got to be a penalty. No question about that. Peter Jackson, the replacement. Now watch the leg action here in the State Bank replay to push Roy Simmons away with his feet. Not on. And I wouldn't argue with any referee penalising any player for that sort of action.
Could have got Jackson for either foot. He tried it with both. Alexander will try and even things up here. Gene Miles a little bit unhappy to give away 2 points so quickly.
The thing about Greg Alexander I've noticed this year during this football season is the way he's built himself up. He's really quite a big fella now. No longer the little lightweight halfback.
Can he square it? No, he won't pull it around. They get out of it. Brisbane 2, Penrith 0. Restart things from the 22 with a drop kick. Hancock. Taken by Smith well. He's tackled by Kevin Walters. Alexander, Izzard. Green was in, but it was cut out. Bentley showing the ball now infield for McIndoe. Miles went high. McIndoe still going. 40 out from the Brisbane line. 13 minutes gone in this semi-final. Royce Simmons head down, charging forward. Walker. Alexander dragged it in. Izzard needed quick hands there. They had an overlap. The winner of this semi-final will take on the minor premiers next Sunday, Canberra. The loser to meet Manly. Of course, that'll be Saturday. Manly looked very solid in their win yesterday. Hancock. Taken by Vandervoort. Ball and all. Shearer. Pegged down a little at the moment, Brisbane. Kerrod Walters has been allowed to run. Gavin Allen. Stepping inside, Kevin Walters, but Langer's there to cover. Fittler. They've never won a semi-final before, Penrith, Bill.
Yeah, been here 3 times, Graham, and come up empty, but I think in the past they might have lacked a bit of confidence. I can tell you what, they don't lack that today. There's a lot of enthusiasm out there.
Yeah, well, the State Bank replay shows the little bit of work that Fittler got put on him in there by an elbow coming in over the top from Andrew G, who was one of the 3 men that were trying to handle him in the tackle.
Alexander will find touch just 10 metres inside the Broncos half. So Simmons with the restart, away for Clark. Alexander again. This time it's for Walker. Now Vandervoort got past the first man and is able to offload smartly. Now here's Fittler. Fittler with some room to move, giving it away to Smith. Smith held up right on the 22. Alexander again. Now Cartwright. Able to stand and offload smartly. The little kick ahead from Alexander. It's come back for Willie Kahn, who beat McIndoe. Almost stepped inside Walker, who just managed to grab him with one hand. Miles. Bringing it back strongly and a little knock on. Eddie Ward saw it.
Yeah, well, David Green was responsible for that. He's come in with a very strong tackle after the initial tackle had been made by Vandervoort.
So Alexander gets the scrum feed again. Now it's with Izzard. Caught by Walters. Vandervoort.
Geez, a handful today, this fella. He's bumping off the first tackler, coming into him almost every occasion.
Almost 32 metres out. Alexander and Izzard. The run around for Alexander. Then back for Fittler. Able to stand again in the tackle. Offload for Izzard. Izzard got through home. Running strongly, Brad Izzard. Gets to within 11 metres of the line. Good strong run from the 5'8". Now Alexander wants it quickly. Stepping off the right foot. Looks for support. Can't offload. 5 tackles gone. Pressure now for the Broncos. Playing it ahead. Alexander diving on it. That's going to be a try. Alexander, quick thinking. The Panthers are in to score.
State Bank replay will show the lead up to this. Simmons getting it away to Alexander. Now Alexander standing on the right-hand side of the ruck. The big step off the right foot. The tackle there over the top by Dowling. Puts him down, but he's able to get to his feet reasonably quickly, and both the players were not in front of him. The referee has deduced. He kicks the ball ahead. The referee interferes in some way with it. We'll see it from head on. Well, he didn't interfere with the actual ball carrier, and Alexander's the bloke that was after the football from the attacking side, and he's given the try. So Eddie Ward allowing Alexander a try there, only a few metres out from the goalpost on the right-hand side.
10 tries for 1990 for Greg Alexander. 25 years of age. And another brilliant schoolboy footballer who's made it to the big time. The opportunity for him to convert his own try. And it's there. No problems. So the Panthers hit back strongly over Brisbane. It's 6-2 to the Panthers. Shearer brings the football back to restart. The chant is up for the Panthers right around the football stadium. Slight readjustment. Now Shearer's right. Kicking it right into the sun. Smith brings it back, caught by G. David Green. Panthers inside their own quarter. Or Clark takes it past that line. Now Simmons makes a little dash from dummy half. This is Cartwright. Pass along the ground, eventually picked up by Smith. Miles is underneath him. Alexander with a big dummy. Sends it down to Shearer. Back in his own quarter.
It's all coming from Penrith. 18 tackles they've had in the opposition halves, only 7 for the Broncos. Allen. Peter Sterling, I think the Broncos were a bit guilty of going high in defence.
Well, they're looking to get some big shots on, and sometimes that does affect your technique. Over-enthusiastic. Very impressed with the way the Penrith side has started. Brilliant piece of play there from Greg Alexander. That's just something he can do for you.
Well, that's a question too, Peter. He's been a player that's been criticised heavily in big matches.
Well, he started this one off in the right vein. His kicking has been very astute, and he's put on a marvellous try, which must give the side confidence. And defensively, he's been very good as well. So he started the game off in the right vein.
Oh, here's a chance for Penrith. Paul Smith picked up a straight pass. Hancock will get him on the 22. Can they get back and recover, Brisbane? The Panthers are lined deep. They want to send it wide. It wasn't the opportunity. Vandervoort showed a dummy. Jackson's there to make a tackle. They're still stretched if they can get it wide. Alexander, a cutout, beautiful start for them. Izzard looking out wide, threw it straight for McIndoe. The try's gone begging.
Well, it was also a forward pass. Everything was wrong with that pass. He's not a skillful player in the sense of being one of those players that can adjust to a situation quickly. That pass was horrendously forward, about 1.5 meters forward.
They've scored one, they could have had 2.
What a terrible blunder by Jackson out there on the right to allow that winger to pick the ball up and make that that long run. Hancock's only the pace of Hancock saved the day for the Broncos there. But they're hanging by a thread at the moment.
Kevin Walters. Miles, they need him now more than ever.
Well, Miles has got to lift his work rate. He's been very slow in the early part of the game, not doing terribly much. Now they've lost the football again.
Another scrum and another Penrith feed.
Well, you know, this sort of thing shouldn't go on. Walters there was swung round in the tackle and just dropped it. That's not a first-grade footballer. Or the actions of a first-grade footballer.
The scrums are all square. 3-2. Izzard makes another bust. Shearer. Good tackle from the fullback. It's all Penrith. Green will play it just inside the 22 line. Walker. Plenty of room for him to make that advantage line and to play the ball. Alexander working with Cartwright, who went to unload. It was touched by Brisbane. Vandervoort. 6 more tackles. I don't know if they can hang on for another 6. Alexander. Walker. They got in each other's way, the Panthers. Stretched to the limit, the Broncos. Clark. Pass for absolutely nobody. But Smith ends up with it. Brisbane sloppy in defence. Alexander. Izzard. He was hovering, waiting for the pass back. Cartwright. Showing it. Too much. Knocked down. Another scrum. And yet another feed for the Panthers.
Cartwright just trying to get the pass away. He did get it away, but it was knocked down there by Kevin Walters. And the knock-on will be taken with a scrum here. But the referee just had a word to Shearer about an action that he took place involved in just a few seconds ago.
It's a rare thing to be able to hold out for 18 tackles. Izzard under the post. G won't get him. Right next to the uprights. They couldn't hang on. Izzard at 5'8" has got the second. Panther power, all right.
Well, that's the sort of thing that Izzard is good at. That is what he's really good at. He's a strong player, direct player, without having a great deal of skills. And Wallace went up much too quickly, and he was made pay in the worst possible way with a 4-pointer that'll probably be 6 after this kick at goal. Now watch Izzard. Strong step, slightly off his right foot, very quick off the mark, able to make the distance. It was only about 15 metres to go. See it again from the high camera. There it is. Now watch him come back on the inside. Waller's really looked like a Tyro 5'8". That won't do his kangaroo chances any good at all.
Brad Izzard, a City first rep 2 years ago. He's got 5 tries this year for his Panthers. Alexander, 1 from 2. Would be saying thank you to his 5'8" teammate for scoring this one right next to the sticks. What a start for Penrith. Never won a semi-final before. This might be it. They're on their way, 12-2.
So the Broncos bring it back. And some worries for Coach Wayne Bennett. He's seeing a lot of mistakes being made in defence and in handling from his side. While in contrast, Phil Gould, who has never lost to Brisbane, that's with his coaching career at Canterbury as well as at Penrith, of course, you've got to say appears to know the tricks to beating Brisbane. But we're a long way from full time. A long, long way.
I'd just like to comment on Colin Vandervoot's form at the moment. He is playing a sensational game of rugby league. I've never seen this bloke play better.
So the Panthers, good morning. Slipped it away for Bentley. Now it's with Walker. This is the last for Penrith. Shearer coming across to cover this one.
Look at the tackling team that were down there for them in line quickly. Shearer had nowhere to go.
Now Hancock. Brisbane have missed 5 tackles. The Panthers just the 1. Dowling. Now Johns. Lacking a little spark at the moment. The Broncos as Allen takes it forward. Shearer. A couple of bounces. I thought Green was going to get it, but it evaded him. Langer just did enough to stop Green. Held by Walters. And Smith will play it. This is Mortimer. Simmons. Little legs pumping furiously.
Look at 3/4 then the way he ran. Alexander.
Another fine break from the halfback. Gets to halfway before he lost the football. Allen is able to dive on it. But Alexander is certainly assuming control, Bill.
He is, since he was a schoolboy, you know, we've all known what he could do, and I thought he was the heir apparent to Peter Sterling's throne. But at times, he's just lacked a little bit of confidence, and when we expected him to really come up with the goods, he was found wanting. Today, I think on the 2nd of September 1990, Greg Alexander has made it. I think he's really playing with some authority.
Vandervoot's down injured at the moment.
He's got some problems, but so do the Broncos. Vandervoort certainly seems to be in a bit of pain. Shearer puts this way up in the air. Green, no problem. He's been extremely safe.
Hasn't really put a foot wrong in this season, 1990.
Well, someone's been called out.
Shearer. State Bank replay. Very late in the tackles. Green was down. Shearer came in. The penalty will go to the Penrith side here, only about 10 metres out from their line.
Now there is concern for Vandervoort and Mark Geyer, comes to the sideline. What's the story, Bill?
They've called for a stretcher for Van der Voort. That's rotten news, isn't it, for the Penrith camp? But he's a pretty good replacement going on. Mark Geyer in 40.
Touch judge is in just to tell the referee that there was a major problem with one of the players, in this case Van der Voort.
Well, he's got on Geyer. Discipline must be his guiding light in this particular game. Penrith are a good, well-performed team. They're coached tightly by Phil Gould. They need 13 players on the field at all times to perform at their best, and I hope he remembers that. Discipline, Mark Geyer.
This is a major blow for Penrith and Colin Van der Voort, who has been in outstanding form right through this game so far, and in fact has had a very strong year after a serious ankle injury.
Well, after only 30 minutes of football, I would have thought that I'll give a secret away. If he'd continued in the form, he'd have won the Man of the Match award without any question of doubt. I've been astonished by him today. He's broken every first tackle that's come at him.
A real blow, and the crowd shows their appreciation of Van der Voort's performance as he's carried from the field on a stretcher. Penrith doctor in attendance.
Let's have a look and see if we can find an incident. Oh, yes, well, he's coming over a Bronco player and caught his leg, so that probably the knee action has been stopped suddenly, and that probably will be the trouble. We'll learn about, through Bill Anderson, what the injury is.
So it's 12-2. The Panthers in front, and the penalty's gone the Panthers' way just as Geyer was getting himself set to get involved. Miles has been called over. Certainly the Broncos with plenty of problems, and another opportunity for Greg Alexander to put a couple more points on the board. Miles will be far from happy with the way his side's going. And he missed the one from 3. Successful with 2 of those, Greg Alexander, and he's 32 metres out and about 18 metres or so in from touch.
You mentioned it earlier, and I can concur with you that Bennett, the coach of the Broncos side, has not come up with any tactics of any different nature that would throw this terrible jinx that the Penrith side have got on the Broncos. I think that a lot of people would have been expecting him to work the oracle and turn them around in some way.
Here's Alexander's shot, and it's a good one between the posts to put the Panthers 2 more points in front. 14-2, Penrith over Brisbane.
Desperate, the Broncos, to be the next ones on the board now as Shearer brings it back. What's the report on Van der Voort, Bill?
The initial report is a cruciate ligament. If that's confirmed, he won't play again this year.
That's a hell of a thing, Bill Anderson.
Cruciate ligaments also going to rule him out of any touring possibilities.
Smith. Penrith doing it so well. Shaping as the side to meet the Canberra Raiders. A lot of football left in this match. Forward. Pass from Alexander to Geyer was easily forward. Alexander. Plenty of time. The ball was touched. All onside. Nothing going right for Brisbane. The Panthers a chance to get away here. Geyer. Another score, and the Broncos would need a miracle. Cartwright taken. Just gone inside the last 8 minutes of this first half. Chris Mortimer. 10 metres away. Massive ball out wide for Fittler. Then DeMarcano to the corner. They won't get him. They've got their 3rd try.
Well, how did the corner post come out then?
It was taken out by Brisbane. Easy for the Panthers out wide.
See it again. Long pass from Alexander. State Bank replay. Watch McIndoe come up the sideline. Knocked out the corner post by the defender, Brisbane, the Brisbane player who was swung round in the tackle. But look at the length of this pass from Alexander. What is it? 30 yards? Probably. Just magnificent. He's orchestrating this game, playing it very, very simply, very, very cleverly. McIndoe in for another try for the Penrith side as Alexander works his magic from the ruck area with those long passes, and there was just nobody out there. Just astonishing. McIndoe in for an easy one.
The top try scorer for the Panthers. Ironically rumoured that he may not be there with this club next year. Alexander sets himself for another shot at goal as the Broncos try and snap themselves out of a nightmare. The Panthers fans are on their feet for McIndoe down the other end. Three from 4 for Alexander. Hooking too far. But look at this scoreline before half-time. 18-2 Penrith over Brisbane. Shearer. A restart for the Broncos. This was the sort of nightmare that Penrith used to walk into in semi-finals, Peter.
Yes, it was. They've turned that around, and experience is something that is totally invaluable when you get down to this end of the season. There is a long way to go in this football game yet. You know, the Broncos side, they're very capable of coming back, but very difficult against such a well-drilled outfit as this Penrith side is.
They settle themselves down in their own danger area. I'll just look to kick early. Clark. Alexander is hovering in behind the play of the ball. They need something to go their way, put pressure on the kicking game just like this, but he's still created space for himself. And a long enough kick away from Shearer to allow his chasers to get down there, although Shearer to the outside. He tries to turn it around for Brisbane. He's got plenty of pace. Running out of petrol, it seems.
Well, I reckon he's favouring an ankle.
Well, he certainly pulled up. And they will stick with the players as the Broncos continue that move forward. Yeah, Shearer's in trouble. It's with Allen. Some problems for Dale Shearer as Hone brings it up to the 22, and the Broncos try to get back into this football game. It's across for Langer. Now it's with Kevin Walters. Inside goes Jackson. Got it back for a little Alf. Now it's with Dowling. But the Penrith defence is relentless. Switch of play now. Langer, a little kick ahead. Green is back there to fall on it in his own in goal.
And the referee has ruled on that to the extent that Green fell on the ball in the in-goal area, as you'll see, and then he tries to come out of it. So it'll be a line drop out to restart the play. This Penrith side playing with an enormous amount of confidence at the moment. One can't see Brisbane getting out of this, but as Peter Sterling has already mentioned, they are one of the 2 or 3 sides in the competition capable of putting 17 or 18 points on the board in 17 or 18 minutes. They can score at the rate of 1 a minute.
In so many of the Broncos games that we've seen, they come from behind. But I don't know if they've come from this far behind in this situation, and with a player like Shearer, who is in deep trouble.
Well, he's obviously just trying to hang on till half-time, but he would have run the distance and scored a try there had he been fit or had he been dead serious about it.
Walters. This is Allen. Just outside the Penrith 22. Now Dowling. Takes it inside the quarter. Langer. Miles. Losing the football ahead. Fallen on by Penrith. Fittler will have it. Just 10 metres out from the Penrith line. And Shearer, just watching him, he's really a passenger. He can hardly walk. Simmons brings it up. He's dropped back for the kick, Shearer, but he won't want to do any chasing. Change, Bill.
Steve Renouf in 16 will be going on. Shearer's done something to his hip. They're not sure. They just want to get him into the dressing room and checking. Now, this does give them some problems because I can't see anyone left on the field who's a specialist fullback, and you need to be a specialist there.
The problems continue for the Broncos. It's down towards Shearer now. He doesn't want anything to do with this. And who can blame him? The man's injured. Now Khan. Shearer's coming to the sideline now. That change has been made. Renouf has gone on. A real play for Brisbane.
Well, they've got a penalty here at the moment, about 5 metres outside their quarter. Jackson's taken the kick for touch. He finds it around about the halfway line with only 1 minute 33 of the first half to go. They really need a try.
Now Renouf, the replacement, played yesterday in the reserve grade semi-final. It looks as if Hancock is dropping back to fullback. He's certainly in a role where he's going to fill in there anyway. Maybe some more adjustments made at half-time. This loose ball, Renouf was back there to fall on it. Now Johns dancing around but not getting very far. Wayne Bennett has some monumental problems on his hands. Kevin Walters. Quick hands from the Broncos. Hancock got himself free. Finally caught by Cartwright. Did get a pass back for Kevin Walters. Now it's with Khan, and he's put it down towards Green.
And Green, as he usually does, has just taken absolutely nothing at all from the Brisbane side. He just went down straight away on the ball in the face of the player coming through at him. No thought of self at all. He's a very good player, Green, very underrated player.
Barry Walker. The Panthers will be happy to go to the break with only about 10 seconds remaining with this very handsome lead. Geyer, caught around the chest by Dowling.
Well, Dowling's really given him a serve there.
Well, I thought it was dead set around the chest. Geyer hasn't moved. Play on is the call. This ball is going to roll dead over the dead ball line. Geyer is flat on his back. But to the naked eye, I thought it hit him on the chest.
Well, watch it again on the State Bank replay. There it was, right across the top of the chest, little doubt about it. The arm may have slipped up underneath his jaw into the neck area after the initial impact had taken place. But that's a legitimate front-on hit as far as we're concerned. 18 points to 2. Penrith lead the Brisbane Broncos at half-time. Don't go away. We'll be back shortly with more action.
Those sprints of the under 18. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Yeah.
It was nice to see some red, white and blue Eastern Suburbs jerseys.
Yeah. Okay. We got monitors anyway. I'm going to need it right up here, the monitor. You won't see it back there. That's, you're going to need it up here, mate. Just tip the top forward.
Tommy, Thomas, when I do mine, I'll go and get the replacements as soon as I've done my bit.
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah, what are we going to see, Gray?
Union side on the southern end
at this
of the
stage, the Mackinday.
All laps and finish underneath the City Credit Union sign. Introducing today's teams. In lane 1, the current Sydney Credit Union Relay champions and representing the Balmain Tigers. Running at number 1 and number 4 from the Balmain United Club, wing 3/4 Damien Ford.
I'm glad they weren't around when I was.
The number 2 Tiger in centre 3/4 from the champion Leichhardt Wanderers Club, Mark. The number 3 runner for the Tigers and from the Balmain United Club, Because of injuries, the Tiger side is down to 3 runners today, remember, and the number 1 runner will run twice. In lane 2, representing the mighty Manly City. Running at number 2 of 5'8" from the Fishkin Brothers Club, Anthony Copley. 8 seconds. The number 3 sir, the halfback from the Valley United Club, Van The final man runner from the Fishkin Brothers.
Welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium. Penrith easily here at half-time, 18 points to 2. Now, Billy Anderson, you said at the start of the match you were going for the Panthers. No one envisaged your scoreline.
No, because Penrith are playing like a well-drilled, a well-oiled machine, aren't they? And Brisbane are off their game. They just can't put it all together. But Penrith not only doing the things we expected, Graham, in the centre of the rucks where they are getting over the advantage line, but they did some nice things out wide. Now, what about that try by McIntyre? That was a beauty, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and their defence has been struggling right throughout this first half, though.
Yeah, that's right. But let's have a look at this one where the ball stretched along the back line. A great pass, a nice wide shift, firstly to Alexander, then Alexander to Fittler, Fittler on to McIntyre, plenty of pace, just coming back from a knee injury, but you wouldn't believe that. Alexander has finally stood up to be counted in a big game. I think this is the turning point in his career.
We're talking about people that should know about halfbacks, Peter Sterling. I said it before that a couple of semi-finals, people have put a lot of pressure on him. Critics have said that he hasn't handled the big time, but a dream start here.
Yes, it's been a tremendous half of football for him, and I suppose there is a lot of pressure because people do look for the brilliant things. You know, they don't want to just see him do the normal everyday things. They want to see something brilliant. We have seen some brilliant stuff early on. He's been very involved, and I think that's probably been a major criticism in a lot of people's minds, but he's turned that around in the first 40.
What about this Brisbane side? There's still no Wally Lewis. There's still a doubt about him getting back from the busted arm.
Well, that's, you know, Kevin Wallace has had a fine season, and it was a great piece of play for Izzard to stand him up. But really now the emphasis does unfortunately fall back on Gene Miles. The Parramatta side led by a similar margin I know it was only a club fixture, but the man who got them back into the game was Gene Miles, and that's who the Brisbane side will be looking for to do it again today.
What about a quiet Alan Langer in the number 7?
Well, you can only do so much behind your forwards depending on how they're going, and I think that they've been a little bit out-muscled by the Penrith pack in this first half. If they can get a roll on, then you'll see Langer come into his own a little bit more, and, you know, that'll be important also for the Brisbane side.
All right, well, we've got 3 weekends to go yet before we find the grand finalists of 1990. How would you like to join us? Here's your opportunity right now. Courtesy of Ansett and Hilton International, you and your partner could be sidelined at the Sydney Football Stadium on September 23 for the big one, the 1990 Grand Final. Ansett flies Australia's most modern jet fleet and offers an airline service that has been ranked the best domestic service in the world. Come fly with Ansett and then experience Hilton's superb luxury and hospitality in Sydney for 2 days and nights, where you will enjoy dining at its very best. The Hilton, the hotel. All you have to do to be part of the colour and excitement of Grand Final Day is correctly give the score of last year's Grand Final. Put it on the back of an envelope with your name and address and send it to Ansett Hilton International Grand Final Getaway, PO Box 10, GPO Sydney, 2001. The competition will close with final mail received Friday, September 14. Well, this is the best the Brisbane Broncos have ever achieved in the Rugby League Winfield Cup. Their first time ever in the semi-finals. Not a good scoreline at halftime. Let's take you back to a happier day. Their first ever premiership match, 1988. In 1988, the expanding game of Rugby League included a team from Brisbane for the first time. And the Broncos didn't take long to make their mark. Again, more pressure for Shearer. Well, he's lost it. This has got to be a try under the post. They've crashed over. Another mistake from Dale Shearer. And the Broncos have got over for their first try, and Lang Parker roughs.
Here's Kinescu.
Riding rough shot over the defending premiers Manly. Brisbane showed the code now had a new glamour outfit. and a Lang Park venue destined to make an away victory one of the game's most difficult assignments.
They've fallen apart. Manly have come apart at the seams in the second half, and Lang Park again explodes.
And there is the full-time siren sounding. The party is over for Manly at this trip to Lang Park. King Wally reigns supreme with his Brisbane Broncos side. That's what it's like up here, folks.
How they would love to have Wally Lewis out there in the second half of this semi-final. They're behind by 16 points, 18-2. Can they come back? We'll find out right after these messages.
Welcome back, Sydney Football Stadium, for this major preliminary semi-final between the Panthers of Penrith and the Broncos of Brisbane. And the Broncos come back for the second half with an awful lot of worries on their mind after really being given a football lesson in that first half. And to compound that, the injuries have continued. Greg Alexander comes back behind Royce Simmons, and Alexander has really put his stamp of authority on that first half. Long passes and running and kicking. The main reasons why the Panthers hold a pretty healthy lead. (18-2). The Panthers with a very strong lead over Brisbane as we get set for the second half. Billy Anderson has been to the dressing rooms. What's the story, Bill?
First thing, there are no changes. Now, what could Wayne Bennett do? You can't go on and tackle for players, and his team has just made too many individual tackling errors. They've got to arrest that problem, obviously. Phil Gould doesn't want anything other than what they did. Kick, chase, tackle, and wait for mistakes.
Hancock will get the Broncos underway. What a performance Brisbane need. 40 minutes left. Taken by Green for McIndoe. 92 tackles in the first half for the Broncos, 14 by Hone. Clark was best for Penrith out of 81. Chris Mortimer, man with plenty of big-time football experience. Clark finds it easy up the middle. Cartwright. Guy went to take it and ended up in the hands of Walker, and he sends the Broncos back on their heels too. Alexander for Green. Kevin Walters had rushed up, touched by Dowling. Walker, it's all fallen for Penrith, should be a try. It is. Izzard gets number 2. Talk about luck in big games, but they're there to finish it off, Penrith. Smiles all round.
Well, State Bank replay will show the appalling luck that takes place when a side's hopelessly out of form. That is evidently the way this Brisbane side are. The ricochet there, taken by Walker, streams upfield, the defence in disarray, and as he's tackled from behind, slips a little tiny short pass to Izzard, and that's the end of the section for him. Where they were undone here, they still had chasers coming through the Broncos. Dowling's accidentally touched the football, fallen for Walker. He just runs. He's got nowhere to go except straight ahead. That's where there was no defence. Khan comes to him. Hancock comes to him, rather. Izzard in. Just avoided the goal post. I thought he might have taken it there. He wasn't looking at it. He was looking at the guy, but that's a very good opportunist try. Quickly taken.
3 from 5 for Alexander. Izzard again gets it right next to the post for him. 6 green points for Penrith as we start the second half, 24-2. From looking for a miracle, it might have been turned into mission impossible. Brisbane will stay alive. They get a second chance. But that'll be a tough one against Manly. Guy. They need a couple of things to fall for them, Brisbane. He's offside, Jackson. He knows it.
Yes, players frequently make errors that they know that will be penalised because they're in frustration. And absolutely nothing's gone right for the Broncos today. They've reached a pitch where probably one can only conjecture at the state of mind that they're in at the moment. It must be chaotic.
For a long time, people have been saying that Penrith's got to start to produce the goods. They got close last year, came unstuck for them. Determined to make amends here at the stadium 12 months later. Men like Izzard, they've had the wood on Brisbane all season long. Cartwright, so confident when in possession, this Penrith side. Alexander, Chris Mortimer, much better defence from Hone. Geyer knocked it back for Simmons, last tackle.
Well, that was a freakish catch there from Simmons. The ball dropped right towards his feet when he bent down for that.
Alexander wanted a field goal, but it's wide. Back to the 22. That's an interesting call. Hone. Broncos. So often the case when you're looking at a scoreline so heavily against you, you'll find that everybody will start running one out. There'll be little support. 6-3. The penalties to Penrith. Miles, there was a question about his fitness before the match, about being 100%. Johns. Well, they've run one out. They've got 40 metres out from the Penrith line on the last. Langer trying to wait the kick away from Green. He's brought down 9 metres out from his own line.
David Green, this very consistent fullback. No problems for him. Now Smith almost to the quarter line. Penrith a bit bunched at the moment. Walker. Nowhere for Simmons to go. Back for Green. Wrong foots the defence and is able to link up again with Alexander. And touched again by Brisbane. Everything is going the Panthers' way, except that pass. Renouf lost his headgear. Mortimer very kindly gave it back to him. So Alexander with the scrum feed right on the halfway mark. It's with Izzard. And again he got by Walters.
Having a nightmare, Walters, with Izzard.
Johnsy beat, who moved into 5'8" in that play.
Well, down the other end of the football field, Brisbane have had it for 19 tackles. Penrith for 37. Now it's loose. Smith. Here comes Mortimer. Cartwright. Down for Hancock. Somehow he's able to get himself free of those tacklers. Now Walters. Walters has got plenty to say in that tackle. Crowd here today of almost 24,500 watching the Panthers going from strength to strength against the Broncos, who really have not looked like a semi-final football team. Now Miles with some room to move. That overhead pass for Walters has gone astray.
Ricocheted backwards according to the referee.
So Jackson will play it just on the 22. Now it's with Langer. Johns has gone without it. Walters has it. Miles with a little kick through and chase, but the ball will beat everyone over the dead ball line.
Well, the State Bank replay shows the tail end of it, but this is such as the Broncos' luck that the kick from Miles goes too far. So play will restart from the quarter.
Back for Roy Simmons. Now Walker. Clark. Geyer. Really attracts the defenders every time he brings the football up. Alexander wants to get involved. Cartwright. Back for Simmons. Then for Geyer. Alexander again. Down for Hancock. Chased by Izzard and caught by Izzard. No doubt about it, Bill. This Penrith side are hardly making any mistakes.
Everything they're doing has got a touch of precision about them. They're very well drilled. They're forcing Brisbane into errors, but they're not making errors themselves with the ball. And if you're going to beat Brisbane, that's the secret. You've got to deprive them of possession.
Kevin Wallace runs into trouble when he ran into Simmons and Izzard. It's back for Johns. Tackle count restarted. Now the penalty's going to go the way of the Broncos.
They're starting to get a little bit of possession. Jackson will get them down close to halfway. Allen. Broncos forwards have got to start hunting together in possession. Making it too easy for the defence. Dowling. He needs a run-up. Where are they? Look, they got there too late. Langer. Kevin Walters. Still standing. Finished off by Alexander. Kerrod Walters up the middle. Clark was there to stop him. He got it away. Bouncing for Allen to unload to Jackson. Beats the tackle of Cartwright. Beats Walker. Comes to David Green. Stepped in well. Was tackled, said Eddie Ward. He's got to play it. Just a metre away. They're all offside. Got to be a penalty. He's going to penalise Jackson. Well, I think that's hard.
He's construed it that Jackson dummied to play the ball, and now he's walked him another 10 yards. Now watch it again. State Bank replay. He's tripped and gets up, is prepared to play the football. He's held again. He goes down, bends forward. The referee's obviously called to him play the football at that stage, but he's bent down and picked up the ball in a ruck after having the ball knocked from his hand, so it's as broad as it's long. The referee seemed hard in the initial decision, but he broke two laws.
He certainly didn't seem to be tackled, did he, when he beat the fullback, but he was told to play it. The penalties still with Penrith. He could have also got Penrith, any number of them, for being offside. Cartwright. Calls like that might make them more determined. They've got to do something to lift. Fittler. Taken by Langer over the top. Guyer. Ridden to the ground by Miles. Bentley. One more tackle for Penrith. Alexander continues to pull the reins on this game so beautifully.
Yes, Alexander continuing his masterly display of kicking and passing. The great line kick up the sideline. Ball goes into touch only about 15 metres out from the Broncos line. They're right under pressure again.
Langer with the feed. A little opportunity in attack. Steve Renouf. Peter, is there a way that you can try and upset this Penrith side and Alexander?
Well, what you've got to do is when you've got the football, you've got to try and get some momentum and a roll on with it and just be very good defensively. Like they're really up against it. Plenty of heroes for the Penrith side, but I've got to give it an enormous rap for Royce Simmons. It's as good a game as I've seen him play in a long time. He's had a hard season by his standards, but gee, he's played one heck of a football game out there today.
Miles. Johns. Not so happy for the Brisbane skipper. Langer. Kevin Walters. Jackson for Kevin Walters. Doubling around. Taken by one leg. Brother Kerrod gets back to support. Now Willie Kahn. Motors ahead. Last tackle against Brisbane. Langer looking up the middle for Willie Kahn to kick ahead. He's going to do his own chasing. Smith is there with Green. Green. Beats Kahn. Beats Langer, who put him off enough. Paul Smith. 22 points in arrears, the Broncos. Clark. No one in this Penrith side could be faulted. Walker. For Phil Gould. player who has had an incredible year, Carter. Steve Carter, still on the bench. They put one down. The first glaring error that I can remember they've made.
State Bank replay. Alexander with a long torpedo-like pass out there, but was put down. That's one of the rare errors this Penrith side have made in the football thus far.
Langer. She's got to put points on the board. Hancock joins in the back line. Taken by Bentley, they're 40 out.
Here's Renew for dummy half. Jackson. Put down by Mortimer as the Broncos get set for another change bill.
Terry Madison, I suppose they've got to try something. He's in 28, going on for Andrew G.
Now Walters for Dowling, and then for Miles. Well revved up by Bentley. Back for Dowling again. Finally out to home. Last tackle signal for the Broncos. Langer kicking straight into the arms of a Penrith player. I think it was Walker who was there to pick it up. A change is about to be made as Madison comes on. And it's Miles who's coming from the field. Well, that is an interesting change. That's all. That wasn't the original plan. Now Johns. Kevin Walters, the run around with Madison, who slipped the one-handed pass away. Kevin Walters will play it only about 8 meters out. Allen got it back for little Al Flanger, and the Broncos are in. Adam Langer in adjacent to the post for the first Broncos try.
Yeah, not without difficulty, not without juggling it a fair bit, but nonetheless it's a good try. Now this is the way it went. Madison, no, number 10 there, Gavin Allen was able to get the pass to him very close to the line. Now watch it again. Away it goes. Onto Madison. Now we're looking at the lead up to the try. From this play the ball. Jackson's at dummy half. Walters was the man that played it. Now away goes Allen, the one-hander on the swivel out to Langer. 2 or 3 stabs to get the football in his hand promptly, and then down she goes.
And the kick from Terry Madison was successful. That's how he did it. Pretty simple kick for him. So the Broncos at least have a try to their credit. 24-8, the Panthers over Brisbane. Alexander with the restart for Penrith. Now, Bill, is there a danger that Penrith may try to close the game up too early?
Yeah, Peter and I were just discussing that down here on the sideline, and as Pete suggested, it's if you close the game up totally and you stop doing things, you do allow the opposition back into it, and I think that's a pretty good thought. I think Penrith should just stick at doing what's worked so well for them today.
It's an awful long way for the Brisbane to go, of course, but at least they know they can get the ball across the line. Now Jackson. Kerrod Walters. Last tackle against the Broncos. Jackson again. A pass to Kevin Walters that was an offside pass.
Yeah, the referee's been a little bit hard there, perhaps. Jackson's the man that runs with the football on the State Bank replay. The pass goes forward. Now, Walters was standing in an offside position when he took it, so it's been construed to be a penalty offence.
Alexander will look for touch. And then finds it on the 22. So the Panthers back down this end of the field once more with the football in their hands. David Green caught by Allen and Hone. Now Walker. Alexander. selecting Fittler. That's back with Bentley. Very close to running behind a couple of his players before he might have been thinking about a penalty there. 15 metres away from the Brisbane line. Simmons. Pagaya losing the football. Brisbane come up with it.
The Broncos will bring it back from their own 22. Can't. Do they have enough strike power to put on a quick try? Give them some hope. G. Johns. Very bunched, this Brisbane side. Madison. One more tackle. Langer's going to kick. Trying to get it away from Green. Sits up for him on the first bounce. He collided with Smith. Even that couldn't put him off. Smith making amends up the middle. Fittler. Strong head-on tackle from Gavin Allen. Mortimer. 40 out from their own line. Cartwright. Last tackle against the Panthers. And the Broncos looking to score more than a point a minute. Kick coming down for Hancock. Takes it on the full. Izzard was inside the 5 metres. But there's some tired Broncos trying to get back so that they can take this penalty. 12 missed tackles. Penrith. Dowling. Short ball for Allen. Trying their best to get back into it. Madison. Madison broke clear. Madison has been a spark for the Broncos. He sparked them to their second. Renouf will bring it around just a touch. But Madison has been a trump for Wayne Bennett.
Yes, indeed. Madison showed a lot of skill in the first try. Scored by Langer. And on this occasion, he makes this very good long burst from the position he received the football, and then offloaded the ball over the head of the Penrith player for Renouf, who's a replacement as well, you might remember. There's Walters onto Madison, evades the tackle of Geyer, goes forward, continues to go forward, veers towards the sideline, lobs the pass over the top of the Penrith support there, and Renouf's in for a pretty useful try, one that'll give him a bit of heart. He scored it fairly wide out. It's only about 4 metres in from the sideline. The kick at goal will be taken from a metre short of the quarter line and 4 metres in from the sideline. Kicker, T. Madison.
He's done everything right since he's come on. Makes you think about that touch of luck for Penrith in that try straight after half-time. How important is that now? Madison hits that pretty well, is just fading on him. But there's some hope there at 24-12. Phil Gould's thinking, plenty of time left, and my team have got to get back to the way they were playing for the first 60 minutes. Alexander. Khan. It makes you think, Peter Sterling, about the day the Broncos climbed back against Parramatta.
Yes, there's a couple of ominous signs appearing here for the Penrith side. Like this Brisbane team, we've still got just over 16 minutes left on the clock. That's plenty of time to score 12 points. I believe they've closed it down a little bit too much. I wouldn't be surprised to see Phil Gould maybe bring on a couple of replacement players.
Home. Maybe they need another spark from Izzard or Alexander. Mortimer. Brisbane claiming that tackle was high. Now, that's a little more like it. The missed tackles against Brisbane 2-1. Little dribbling kick from Kevin Walters. Here it is, Alexander. Fittler. Now the crowd claiming that last tackle from G was a little late. Walker upended. Took the full brunt of that on his back. Mortimer. Oh, big shoulder charge from Allen. Brisbane are showing some fight that they should have shown in the first half.
That is a monumental head-on tackle there, just a shoulder charge. Nothing less. They can look terrible if you miss. If you land, well, you're a hero.
Roy Simmons resenting a bit of work on that tackle as Cartwright was able to slip the pass. It's come out to Smith, and it was touched by Brisbane, so the tackle count will restart. Great opportunity now for Penrith as Bentley threads his way through up to the 10-metre mark. Pressure now for the Broncos. Smith from dummy half gets to within 3 metres of the line. Alexander going to play blindside with Cartwright, who's lost the football. So the Broncos come up with possession. They weather that little storm. Chris Johns will play it. Renouf from dummy half. Here's Dowling. Now it's out for Jackson. Khan. And the Broncos have made a change, Bill.
Andrew G off, Bob Conway in 26 is on, and he's been a likely looking customer each time he's gone on for them this year.
This is him with the football now. Last tackle against the Broncos. Madison finds some open space. Bounced away from Green. Hemmed in by Brisbane defenders. Kevin Walters made the tackle. Now Smith. Now Green again. And here's a Penrith penalty.
Well, he couldn't resist the impulse to grab the guy by the leg as he tried to get to his feet. And that's the reason for the penalty. We'll see it again on the State Bank replay. Walters seen pulling him back. Green, the tackle player.
Alexander again. Seems to be calling his name all day.
Well, it's been that sort of a game for him. He's been terribly involved. This is the most involved I've ever seen him. I've seen him play more spectacular games, but nonetheless, he's had a very, very good game. There's no question about that. But quite involved all through.
Barry Walker will play it. Here comes Guy up. Madison and Dowling in there to stop him. Simmons. Got a back for Guy. Madison's got him. And took the football, and he's going to be penalised.
Well, obviously the referee has called tackle. That's the only thing we can construe there. But Guy seemed to be still going on with trying to make ground. He was still backing and moving. A little bit tough, that one.
Johns has been given some time in the sin bin. 5 minutes in the sin bin. Obviously, he had something to say to the referee about that decision.
Well, that's just what the Broncos wanted, isn't it? Just exactly what they wanted.
Alexander gets the shot for an extra 2. 4 from 6 today for Greg Alexander. And he's 32 metres out. And I guess about 10 metres outside the right-hand upright.
Does tend to hook him a little bit when he's trying for a bit of distance.
Alexander makes no mistake with this. Fine kick from him. That puts the Panthers the extra 2 ahead again. 26-12. Penrith over Brisbane. Chant starts up from around the stadium again for the Panthers. Strong contingent from the foot of the mountains here to encourage their heroes on. Now McIndoe got past 2 defenders. Langer took the football from him. So the Broncos find themselves about 11 metres out. Dowling straight ahead. Gets to within 3 metres of the line. Conway skirting wide and lost the football.
That's a bad loss.
McIndoe comes up with it. The second half has turned into a real semi-final, though. They needed that penalty goal to kick clear. Just under 10 minutes left in the match. Clark. 26-12. Away for Izzard. Langer only just got him. Last tackle against the Panthers. Alexander. Like Lyons yesterday, his kicking has been important. Hancock. Bit of room to move. Izzard's down there. Can't put him off. Fittler does, though. Important territory gain for Penrith. Renouf.
With the touch forward.
Conway. You get the feeling from the Brisbane players that they're more than unhappy with Eddie Ward, Bill, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah, I think they got off to an unfortunate start with him, didn't they, where the bounce of the ball seemed to be going Penrith's way, and once that happens, it's like a domino effect. It just seems to continue through the game. But it's no good talking about it on the field and getting players put in the sin bin, Graham. That's never going to solve the problem.
Spot on. Fittler. Walker. Simmons. Strong effort from him this afternoon. Penrith loosening up the bench. Clark was looking to unload for Green. Cartwright. Last tackle. Any points are important here. Field goals, or maybe just keeping them down this end. Alexander went to run on the last. Khan nearly busted clear. Kevin Walters. Rick Barwick has gone to the sideline to replace David Green. Khan again. Struggles. Continues to run in those tackles. The big front row is clear. Alexander's there. Jackson put it down when the pass came back in. Penalty for holding is there. No, offside. It came off another Penrith man. 7 minutes left. Langer wants to get it started again. They're all offside, Penrith. Eddie Ward seemingly played the advantage there. They were never back more than 10. Dowling just finished making one fine run. 10 metres away. Kerrod Walters. Hancock. Beats one. Taken by Izzard. Langer's there. Hone. Allen. Needs a runner. He's got Hone. Intercepted by Fittler. Conway trying to match it with pace. Fittler's just slowing things down. Running around in circles. He's not concerned with the clock. He was waiting for his teammates.
Well, he could have made a real reputation for himself there. I thought he had the goal line really at his mercy there if he showed the pace that he showed a few times in the past in other televised games. I'm amazed that he slowed down.
Might have been to try and outfit the Panthers.
You don't reckon the Broncos, eh?
Scrappy play. Steve Renouf's got the ball. Johns is back out there for Brisbane. The clock doesn't have enough time. for this Brisbane outfit this afternoon. Dowling. The Canberra Raiders, the minor premiers, will be watching on with interest in this one. Kerrod Walters. Allen standing there. The ball just broke free for him. There's one more tackle left for Brisbane. Langer. Kevin Walters. It opened up for Kevin Walters. Still going down to the last line of defence. He'll get there himself. Where were they? Where was the cover? He didn't believe he was going to score the try. It was easy for him.
Great try. Good solo effort. Langer, State Bank replay. Out to Walters. Suddenly sees the opening. Opens up for him. Redeems himself somewhat for that Izzard try earlier on when he allowed Izzard to score. But this was a good solo effort. He just ran straight. The gut seemed to open up for him. Now watch it. There's Langer, poised, first man off the ruck, away to Walters, did very well picking it up. It came to him very low. Now at that point he got in behind Jackson there and came around and scored a very, very good try. Yes, you can't really take it away from him there. I don't know what happened to the Penrith defence. They just suddenly opened up. There was something like the Sydney Heads there in front of him and he went through it.
Now Madison with a conversion attempt. Out to the right. Can't add the extras. 10 points the difference. Penrith 26 and Brisbane 16. We're into the final 5 minutes or so of the semi-final. Now Penrith have made a change with Barwick, who's come on to replace Green. 3.5 minutes of play remaining. Khan. Good head-on tackle from Brad Izzard. Here's Walters. Kerrod Walters. So the Broncos can now look forward to a showdown with Manly next weekend. Jackson, you'll see, of course, all of it here on 10. That's been picked up by Renouf. He heard you, Rex. He's penalised him.
Yeah, Renouf was offside by about 3 metres on that occasion. I think he knew he was, but hoped he didn't hear the referee's whistle.
Well, he figures at this stage of the game, it's
what the hell? Let's score him, legal or illegal.
Yeah, so Brisbane and Manly. And on the Saturday, and it's between 6:30 and 8:30 in Sydney. The interstate, I suggest you check your local guides. Well, on Sunday, 5:30 to 7:30 Sydney time, you'll see Canberra up against Penrith. Should be a terrific clash, that one, as they both should be, in fact. Now, Geyer, he's pulled down about 30 metres away from the Brisbane line. Barwick, who's just come on, has put the football down. Just a couple of minutes left. Langer with the scrum feed. And here's Walters. Langer. Out for Khan. Nice footwork. Back for Walters, who went without it. This has been kicked ahead. It's evaded everyone. Still being kicked ahead by Alexander. And finally goes over the touching goal line.
Yeah, well, Alexander really achieved everything he wanted to there. I think he expected the ball to be kicked dead over the dead ball line. But it went over there, of course, over the touching goal line by a Brisbane player, so they get the line drop out and possession. So that's all they're after at the moment. Just, I think they've done enough. Although I do subscribe to the view that once you've got the opponents floored as they have this Brisbane side, that's the time you go on with it. try to run up a record score if you can.
About half a minute left. Panthers hungry for another one. 4 tries to 3. The Penrith side has scored. Mortimer caught by Home. Now Walker. I think it's fair to say the Brisbane defence has been tidier at this stage of the game than it was in the first 15-20 minutes.
Yes, well, if anything had been improvement on the way they were early, they were just a rabble. Deteriorated very rapidly after leading 2-0 at one stage.
Time's just about up as Simmons has a little dash from dummy half. Siren sounds. Eddie Ward's heard it and blows full time. So a comprehensive win to the Penrith side. Their first ever win in a semi-final.
Yes, well, of course, the Penrith side have played very well. No complaints about that. They've been very constructive. They scored some very good tries. This little man, Alexander, had a very, very good game. The Brisbane Broncos have won the second half with the score, which doesn't give them a win in the match, but it's something for their coach to work on. But there's the scoreline. Penrith 26, Alexander, Izzard 2, McIndoe 4 tries, Alexander 5 goals. For Brisbane, their 16 points came from Langer, Renouf and Kevin Walters. Shearer and Madison kicked a goal each, so 26 points to 16.
And we'll take a break from the Sydney Football Stadium. We'll be back with you with more in just one moment.